Hey guys, what's up? Who needs meta here?
Welcome to Jankmas.
Welcome to Jankmas, everybody. This is the first of a few videos that'll follow. We're all about the jank already, but this is really getting into it. So what we have today is MacroSworn.
MacroSworn.
It's everything you want and more from Lightsworns, and by that I mean this card. So Gren Maju's sick. It's just supposed to be a huge guy when you have a bunch of cards banished. Gains 400 attack and defense for each of your banished cards.
So we're just gonna try and find the fastest way to make him the biggest guy he can be.
Yeah, that was
living his
really,
best life.
That was the objective here, and we also recognize that it's a level 3 fiend, so you can get it off of Tour Guide. And we'll get into how abusable that is later, but so long as you have a banish card up, D-Fissure, Macro, Banisher, you can just Tour Guide, summon Maju, make Leviar, detach the Maju to get something else if you already have something banished, and just get back that Maju. So you can just Tour Guide summon an active Maju while having a Leviar on field. It's a lot of fun. Banisher's in here to help make sure you can consistently banish cards. And is also just inherently a counterplay against a lot of the meta because nobody likes having their shit banished. Good card. We try to protect it, but it's not the only card that we have that banishes things. Speaking of cards that banish things, Necroface. We do run like Gold Sarks to find it, but if you mill it with the Lightsworns or pitch it with D.D.R or something, otherwise get it banished, you just get 2k onto a Maju, while probably also hurting your opponent. So that's really the banished synergy stuff.
And there are times where you're just like normal summon it, it's huge, I win.
Yeah, this can be a fourth Maju in some situations. It's you normally don't want to, because any of your Majus that you get after that will be dead. But if you've already cycled through all three of them, then yeah, this is a great way to reset.
That, and you can like Gold Sark for it, and then when you actually get it, you could just set it.
And then banish 5 more cards.
Yeah, and then it banishes 5 more cards.
So, unironically, running all the Lightsworns as ways to just mill cards to get them banished to make Maju bigger. It started off as a meme, and we found out it actually worked kind of well. So Lyla's in there just as decent attack stats, mills 3, can potentially pop spells and traps that would deal with Maju. Really kind of does everything we want. Same thing with Ryko. It's a bit more defensive. But does the same thing, deals with problem cards, mills 3. We have some additional Lightsworns in here. We have Ehren to help deal with like Spirit Reapers and things like that Maju just can't force its way through. And we have 2 Jains to help deal with things like Thunder King, and milling 2 is fine most of the time. You want more names in there for something spicy we'll get into once we get into the side. But the last monster to round things off is just a Spirit Reaper. This was originally a Battle Fader. The theory being that, alright, it can protect you for a turn, and then it banishes itself. So maybe that's relevant. Spirit Reaper is just now its replacement to help you survive until you can get a combo piece or 2. It's also level 3 to help you make a Leviar if you need to get back a Maju. So all that's relevant. But that's the monster lineup. Into the spells, we have 2 D-Fissure. We play 3 macro, otherwise we'd be playing 3 of this too, but Maju counts cards and not just monsters. So we want more cards to be banished with macro, but this is still relevant. You still want as many copies of banishes as you possibly can. We also, with the Lightsworn support, play 3 recharge. The quote-unquote ideal opening with this deck is summon Banisher, and then activate recharge to banish what? You get 4 cards. 1 you discard, recharge itself, and then the 2 cards you mill with it. So that's 1600 attack that you add on to a Maju just by
yeah, and it's important to note that recharge just says discard for cost, not discard to the graveyard. But the reason we can't play Charge of the Light Brigade is because it actually does mill for cost, and if you can't pay cost, you can't activate it. Solar Recharge, you're allowed to pay cost under D-Fissure and Macro and Banisher. So
yep. So it works out to help boost boost Maju and find Maju. Other cards that help you find Maju potentially are Gold Sark, but normally you're probably going to just be Gold Sarking for Necroface to banish 5 cards and give Maju 2,000 more attack points. But if you already have it or don't want to do that, I mean, it's Gold Sark. You can get any other card in your deck. Extenders, Actually, no, I'm sorry. Other cards that help you find your cards. We do have 3 Duality. The main play of this deck is to tour guide into Maju, into Leviar, into Maju. But you can just as easily dig for a raw Maju or just a combo piece to help you stall survive.
You need like 2 cards that do anything in this deck, so
Yeah.
you have to be able to make sure you can have Maju plus
something
like plus a card that banishes until you're into the late game, and then in the late game, Duality gets really good because you can just normal summon a bunch of guys.
Yeah. So to finish off the spell lineup, we have 1 D.D.R. Again, just to recur a Maju. If you're under Macro Defissure Banisher, then the card you discard can contribute to it. You can do the same thing with Tour Guide. If you have a Maju in hand, you can just discard it and then special it back if you already have a monster banished.
You could discard Necroface.
You could discard Necroface. It's just a flexible card. Probably not worth playing more than 1 of, but it's good at a 1 of to kind of replace Reborn in this deck. And then Darkhold to round it out. We don't play heavy because we have so many cards that we want to stick around on the field that are continuous, and we don't play Reborn because Banish.
And you'll play MST because you have 3 Lyla, 3 Ryko.
Yeah, typically not needed. Trap cards. We have the 3 Macro, of course. This is the 1 card that banishes that you'd like to see first, but Banisher is also decent. This card can't be run over by battle, though. Nothing more to say than that.
It can be warninged.
It can be warning because of that first line of text. It's just a good card for the banish strategy. We have Starlight Road to help protect it and D-Fissure. To protect Maju, we have Mirror Force.
You mostly want to use Mirror Force. So essentially, if you go like summon Jain or summon Lyla, and you mill 3, and then you want to protect it so you can mill 3 again.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to gain that incremental advantage. So you want to protect your... the deck does struggle when boards go wide because Maju can only attack 1 thing.
Yeah.
So.
To wrap up the main board, we have the Solemn Brigade.
You need to stop Black Rose.
Yeah, Black Rose is a big pain in the butt. Sometimes you'll struggle with going second against decks that can just pop out like a Hyperion going first. In those situations, you might want to side these out. But not in this strategy. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I keep teasing that. Extra deck, it's pretty simple. We're just trying to cover 1 of levels of everything. We don't have any tuners in the main deck. So we'll run 1 of every level until we get to 8. With Stardust Scrap, we have a Trish to round that out. Where we're really trying to focus is the Exceeds. You can run 3 Leviar. It's perfectly viable to do so. You can drop 1 of the other cards, but at least 2, so you can do the Tour Guide into Maju play. Do Leviathan, just to have beaters. Unironically, get to run Submersible Carrier Aero Shark because its effect can be relevant to close out games.
Dude, 100 damage, you kidding?
You never know, man.
Yeah, no, it's relevant. It'll come up like 1 in every like 50 games or something like that, but it'll happen.
And then cards that you almost never need, but you play 1 of each of Roach, Utopia, and Zenmaister just to have the toolbox options. That is it for the extra. And the side strategy we opted to go for was you can either double down on the stun strategy. There's a lot of decks in the format that just get screwed by macro in general. Or you can try to be really funny and just totally smokescreen into full-blown light swords, which is kind of what we did. We figured, all right, what would be funnier? Being really stunny or making people side in a bunch of spell trap hate and then siding out all the spells and traps?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, I need to blow up these macros. I'm going to side in my Dust Tornadoes, my MSTs, all of these cards. And then you're just like, all right, Judgment Dragon.
Yeah. So we tried to cram as many Lightsworn cards in the side as possible. We think it's a functional switch. We play the 1 of Lumina. We play 1 Garroth. We play 1 Celestia. We have double Wolf in there because you're still milling a bunch of cards. The 1 of Honest. We play 2 Card Troopers. We do have a Bulb in here.
I wanted to play BLS, but I didn't feel there was enough darks that would be left in the deck because we don't have Trigger Gores.
Yeah.
So it's just you would leave the tour guides in. You just leave the tour guides in.
Even there's only 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like you'd still leave them in.
But that's it.
And then to round it out, we have the Charge. Foolish, which we were considering maybe to be like a Beckoning Light or something, but Foolish is fine. You can send Wolf, or you can send Bulb, or you can send another name. And we wrap it up with Heavy Storm. Now, as far as what you actually smokescreen with, what cards do you take out to put these in, we recommend the following. So obviously the Majus, the Banishers need to come out, the Necroface, that needs to come out, D.D.R will be worthless, all of the banished cards, as well as one duality. Having 2 in there in the main deck is still fine. You could keep 3 in there, but it'll really slow the deck down. Probably the Starlight Road can come out, though if you're playing something weird like, Gladiator Beasts or something that's consistently popping 2, you could argue to keep that in for something. And then the 3 macros come out. So that's what we recommend for the smoke strat. This is a lot of fun. Sometimes you'll just cheese wins by Maju being huge. Sometimes the banished cards will do all the work. But overall, it's just a funny concept that you can unironically blend Lightsworns with Macrocosmos. So
welcome to the week that will be this.
Jankmas!
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.